you might want to pull over. And I was like, okay. So I pulled over. She said, we need to let you know we've found you a match and your life's about to change forever.
Hi guys!
Hello!
Hope you've had a fabulous Christmas and Happy New Year!
Happy New Year, guys! 2023!
Whoop whoop! This is your year!
Whose year?
Our fucking year!
Oh.
So today we are covering pre-MAFS.
Yeah, so basically what we were going to do is split it into 3 sections, but we've kind of been overwhelmed by the amount of questions, and then when we sat down to work out how we were going to do it, there's just that much content that we've just decided to split it over 3 separate episodes,
because you guys just want to know so much.
Isn't it? There's loads to cover, so I think it's a good idea to maybe split it.
So Zoe, tell me about yourself before MAFS.
So, I mean, pretty much the same as I am now, if I'm honest. I work as a quantity surveyor, still do. And I worked for a company in Telford. Yeah, I mean, I was obviously single. I had I had loads of everything in the right place, really. So I wanted my own house. I bought my apartment, which E4 said was a student accommodation, which is absolutely furious about. So let's get that out in the open. They acted like, people have said, well, it's basically all one room. It's not. It was just a joke.
I've been there.
And it wasn't. So I had my own place, and I had my life together, I guess. I had everything, but I just didn't have a girlfriend. So then I thought, arseholes.
Fair.
Get married.
Why not?
What was your life like for?
Oh dear, yeah. Little Shanita and Derby. Lived alone, pottering around my house, and I was a children's social worker. Prior to going into MAFS, I'd done youth offending. Yeah. But before that, I'd worked in child protection and worked with children in care. And so it's a very demanding, hard, stressful job. That's what I was doing.
How long have you been single for?
I'd been single for over 10 years. That's a long
10
time.
Years? Wow.
I'd been single for over 2 years because I'd ended my 10-year relationship. That's where the 10 years came from. How long was you single for?
Just over 2 years, probably about 2.5 years.
Yeah.
But I loved being single. So I wasn't in any rush. I was actually anti getting in a relationship for a long time because I just had like the best 2 years ever.
Oh, fair.
And then I started to think, right, well, now I really want to find someone.
Oh, that's nice. I got single in COVID, so I couldn't even do all the single things that people do. You know, like you go get your hair done, your nails done, you go out partying. I was just at home like,
I did all of them single things.
Just like, yay for COVID. Just sat home completely alone. Like
that was the best time in COVID though, because I felt like you were like that everyone was messaging. I loved it. So I love that exciting messaging phase. And so you couldn't meet.
Yeah.
So it's great because you never knew.
No. I was working on myself.
Oh, okay.
I was getting in them dark shadows and working on myself. So then I guess that leads to the MAFS situation. So we're 2 people, you're in Stafford, I'm in Derby, plodding along, living our lives. And then MAFS. Bam. So, for me, my friend told me to apply. She kept going on. And I actually looked the other day. So I initially got the application in October because you have to send an email.
So where had she seen it on TV?
Yeah, do you know what?
The programme?
Yeah, so we'd watched the programme. The funny thing is, she actually sent me, I think it was Taya's Instagram story of her advertising it. She's like, you need to do this, should do this. I was like, no. It's gone round. And then she was like, reply. So I'd send the email, because basically you had to email their email to say you're interested, and then they send you back the application form. So I'd done that, but that was like in October.
Yeah.
And then I left it. And then I was like, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing it. And she kept going, do it. Anyway, December comes. Beginning of December. That's how long it took me to think about it. And one Sunday, I just thought, fuck it. Why not? Like, I had this shirt on, actually. And did the little audition video. Because that's what I was dreading, the audition video. Because I did their questions. And then, sent it off. And they contacted me the next day. Liberty messaged me. So Liberty is like part of the welfare team and the, what's the word? The not recruitment, I don't know, casting or whatever. And it come up Liberty MAFS on the WhatsApp, and I was like, I was working from home. I was like, what the hell's that? Then and that's how it started. But with the application, like it asked questions such as, what would you be your most ideal date? I can't remember. That was definitely one of them. And we'll have to look at the application. I can't remember all the questions, but it was questions like that, and then you have to do the 1 minute video or so. And then she contacted me, and then from that my Zoom meeting started, and the ball got rolling. What about you? How did you go?
So mine, it's weird because yours is completely different to mine.
Which is mental.
Yeah. So I was at home with one of my friends. And I got a message when I was cooking dinner saying, hi, my name's Danny and I'm casting for the new season of MAFS.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, there is no way. Bear in mind as well, I had 300 followers. So it wasn't like, I was just like, I barely had any followers. It wasn't like, and I randomly had this message and I just thought, there's no way. And I went to work the next day. And I told everyone at work, and they were just like, everyone was just a bit like shrugged and carried on working. Yeah. They were like, oh, no way. But then I was just sat there thinking, well, what if it is? So then I started researching this Danny guy, and he was a casting, he casted for shows and stuff. And it was a legit email because it was from CPL Productions. And then I started to think, this is real, And so then once I told my sister that was it, she's like, every day she's texting me, have you invited Jenny? And I was like, no. And then we all went out for dinner. Well, I went out with my sister and her friends. And she said, they were like, why haven't you applied, Jax? My other friend, my sister's best friend, Sarah, she started then texting me every day. And we all went out for dinner and I was like, look, I've just got a feeling that if I apply for it, I'll go on it. So I just need to make sure that I'm serious about it before I put the application process in. And then I just got home from work the one day and then I was like, well, I'll just do it. So I just did the little video. I was like, oh, I'm sorry.
Is that all you had to do then? Just the video?
No, I did the application the same as you.
Oh, but I was
cringing because I did the application and then I got to the video and I thought, nah.
Yeah, that's what happened to me. Yeah. You're like, oh yeah, I'll answer these. And then you're like, no.
And then you have to, hi, I'm Zoe. I'm quantity surveyor from Stafford, lesbian. Been single for 2 years.
Thinking all the great things about yourself, aren't you? You're like, what's great about me?
Single lesbian. And then the next day, again, I got a text message, and then it started with the Zoom calls. So then you have numerous Zoom calls.
They're like your first interviews, aren't they? For them to kind of gauge who you are, what you're about. Because you could be one way in your video, but then be completely different when actually being spoken to.
Yeah. So you have one with the person. I don't know if it's that for you. Yeah. I had one with the with somebody that did the matching, the personality when you do all of those, and then I had another one with Paul.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because you have your Zoom meetings with, say, did you have Danny in your Zoom meeting? So you had them with Danny.
Yeah.
And then you have the lady psychologist, don't you? And then you do a survey before you meet with her, and then she tells you if you're narcissistic and stuff like that.
Yeah.
She's like, you rated this for this, you're very empathetic, you're that. I actually asked for a copy of that because I was like, I want to know. I want to read it back because when she's saying it to you, it's like, oh, this information.
She actually told me that I scored quite high for narcissism. Right. But she said that that it's actually like can be a positive. I was like, really?
Warning.
I've never told Jenna that though.
She's probably higher, don't worry.
She already knows.
That's why you matched.
Maggie goes narcissistic together.
These narcissistic lesbians, tick.
They'll cause loads of drama.
It was mad though, because like, you just speak to this randomer and she's telling you all this stuff about
and she
yourself.
knows so much about you, and so she's just like
already.
So basically, as well, sorry, you part of the application process. Once you've done that one, you've had the initial meeting with the casting guy or lady. You have to do different tests of how you react in different. It's like a choice, isn't it?
Yes.
You do questions. You do like, in this situation, how would you react? So like, if you, I don't know, this wouldn't be one, but say like, if you would come back and find your boyfriend cheating or girlfriend cheating, would you kick off? Would you do this? Would you do that? And so that is a really bad example, but they're like the choice questions of how you react in certain situations. And then from that, they can gain an understanding of what type of person you are.
Yeah. It's like what you'd prioritise and stuff as well, isn't it?
And that all contributes to your match.
Yeah.
And whether or not you're compatible.
Yeah, so then you meet her, because you delve quite deep, I'd say, in some of the Zoom meetings in terms of your past. You have to talk about your past, your childhood, trauma, all of that, and it all comes together when you speak to her. She's like, yep, this and this. I remember when I was telling her some stuff from my past, like quite hard-hitting, traumatic things, and she turned around to me and she was like, don't know, like, I'm doing it now. She was like, you know, if I'd put you on mute and I didn't know what you was telling me then, she goes, you would think you were speaking about really happy things. She was like, but you're not. Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, but that's because I've had to learn to cope. Yeah. And that's my coping mechanism, and I've kind of had to try and deal with it and shove that to the back. But that will always stick with me. And then you have her, and then you have some more surveys and stuff, don't you? You
have to do loads of questions, which I kind of loved, because then I just thought, well, I'm doing all these questions, which means that whoever I'm being matched potentially with is also doing these questions, which means that I kind of have hope, because it means that this process and this experiment really is an experiment. Yeah. It's not just a TV show. You are actually matching people based on their compatibility. Yeah.
And like everything's entwined, isn't it? But did you feel a bit of pressure because you know that these questions are what are going to lead you to your partner?
That's it.
I was like, what if I've answered that wrong? Would I do this? Yeah. Do I do that? Like, I was literally for ages on a question like, I don't know, and I'm such an overthinker, so I'm like, I don't want to put the wrong thing.
And I sat around with my two sisters, and we all sat around mum and dad's, and I was like, I've got this these questions to do, and then I was like, but I actually asked them to help me.
Oh, did you?
Because I think I think that sometimes you once you could read a question, you could be like, oh no, and then they'd be like, well, what about this situation, that situation?
Yeah, that's true. An outsider looking in.
Yeah, so sometimes you can see yourself differently to how you are, so I just thought it might gain a better insight if I had an outpoint.
Well, it bloody worked.
I know, exactly. Maybe you should have done that.
No, fuck's sake. Rewind. Can I have a redo, please?
Yeah, so anyone thinking of applying, maybe if when you're doing those questions, it might be a good idea to get somebody else's opinion on how they view you. Maybe.
Yeah, true. But then don't let them overshadow, because sometimes people's opinions.
Not like, oh, you're really selfish.
I'll put that down.
Okay.
So, the length of the process.
Yes.
So, I applied beginning of December. Balls rolling. Obviously, you got Christmas in between, so there's a break. All the things that we've just discussed happening over the months. Did a call with Paul. That's when I thought, shit must be getting real.
Yeah.
Paul is on my screen chatting to me. I was meant to be at work. Well, I was working from home, so it was handy, because I was like, how am I going to explain me talking to Paul Bronson?
Did you low-key take a photo?
No, I'm so jealous. I saw Jenna's photo the other day, and I was like,
I said to Jenna, did you know you were taking the photo? And she goes, no. And I said, he didn't tell me.
Oh my God, this is why I'm mad. For God's sake, I didn't take a photo. I've got no evidence. It didn't bloody happen, did it? But yeah, that when I thought it must be getting a bit real. And then it was February. I think I got told that they found me a match, but nothing's certain until you're at the aisle and they're there, because they might do one. And then March they come to film the backstory, end of March.
Yeah.
How's yours?
I didn't apply until like Feb, January. I think maybe late Jan.
Oh my god, so you was really last minute.
Yeah, but I think I'd got a text message maybe in December.
Okay.
Potentially. I think it was December. No, it wasn't. It was early Jan. It was early Jan. Yeah, it definitely was early Jan because I remember that. And then I didn't apply until maybe late Feb, and then I started getting all of the calls. But I thought, I must be really late applying, because I remember texting them and saying, "Am I too late to apply?" And they said no, but applications literally closed in a couple of days.
Yeah. And
so I applied for it, and then every single day I'd finish work at 5 and I'd race home and have an interview at 6 o'clock with somebody.
Yeah.
And then I found out within about 2 weeks, and then within me applying to me standing at the altar was about 6 weeks.
Fucking hell.
So I got the text message and then sat on it, and then I applied, and it was...
So it's really quick for you, like a whirlwind.
Really,
because
it was mind-blowing.
I remember as it's getting deeper into the application, I'm on the phone to someone all the time. I'm getting calls. I'm at work and I'm like, hi. Yeah. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, and I was having calls left, right and centre, especially to the lead up to do the filming for backstory. Because they have to arrange everything. They have to get permissions. Like, I rented, so you have to get permission from my landlord. They have to get permissions to film at Elveston Castle, which is mad because you just don't know any of this stuff. And you just think, oh, it's a park, it's outside, but they have to get all the permits. So I remember it being very, like, whirlwindy. So I can only imagine what it must have been like for you.
Yeah, it's crazy. It was wild. There I am, stood there, waiting for Jenna. My knees were shaking.
So how many weeks from the call then? Because mine was about 3-4 weeks to the wedding.
I don't know. It must have been. I think I had the call. Yeah, it must have been in like two weeks, and I'd gone into work, and I had to say, like, obviously, I remember going in. I remember. So, where were you when you found out? That's a good question.
So funny enough, the day that I found out, I had back-to-back visits, so going to people's homes and that, visiting, and my 2 o'clock appointment cancelled. They made some excuse to avoid me. So they cancelled on me, which is when the call came through. I'm a big believer in universe, synchronicities, things happen for a reason. And that was my own appointment that got cancelled. So I'd actually have to go back home. And that's when I got the call. I stood in my kitchen looking out the window like, oh my God. Where was you?
I had just gone to site and I was driving. Driving back from Wolverhampton. I had a job in Wolverhampton. I was just driving back. And my phone rang. And it was Emma Parsons.
Yeah.
And I don't know how many people she told, and she had rang me. I'd spoken to her loads. She's dead nice.
Yeah, she's lovely.
And she was like, she said, "Are you driving?" And I said, "Yeah." And she said, "You might want to pull over." And I was like, "Okay." So I pulled over. She said, "We need to let you know we've found you a match and your life's about to change forever."
Aww.
And I just remember being like, oh shit, and then I was like, and then I just panicked. It was really weird. And then she said, obviously, you can't tell anybody, you can't tell anybody.
Yeah, that's
and so then you're just like, what? And then I remember getting off the phone, and I was just driving back to the office, and I drove back to the office, and I walked in, and I sat down, and then I just opened my laptop, and then I just had to like carry on sending emails, and I was thinking, holy shit, like this is crazy.
I was so grateful for that person cancelling the appointment. I'm meant to work that.
Exactly.
Going to marry a stranger, then go to someone's house. Oh, so yeah, that it's mad actually. Even just sitting here now, thinking back, it's actually mad because for me, it's been a full cycle.
Yeah.
So it started December. I applied.
Yeah.
And then everything's obviously unfolded.
Yeah.
And then it's kind of come to an end December again.
Yeah.
It's like a whole year. It's like a whole chapter. It's so bizarre.
Yeah.
So to sit here now talking about it, it brings up so much, so many feelings, so many thoughts.
Yeah.
Like, we had no idea. Like, we didn't even know about each other. We didn't know we'd be like, you know, little besties. Like, it's mad. Yeah, it's crazy. Okay, so we've got the news. We're marrying a stranger. We're crazy ass people. It's going ahead.
What comes next?
Who plans a wedding in like less than 4 weeks?
You've got 3 weeks to find a suit or a dress, and
yeah. And you know what's so funny? Because obviously it's a wedding, it's a new. I was googling like how long before like to get dressed. It was like 8 months.
Yeah.
8 months at least for this, that, and the other. And I was like, I ain't got 8 months. I've barely got 8 weeks. I've got like 4 weeks to find a dress, which is mental, isn't it?
I dropped in because I went into shout out Moss Bros to get a suit, and I went in. They were like, when is it? I said, it's in 3 weeks something.
Yeah.
And they kind of laughed and they were like, there's no way we're going to be able to get, because obviously I'm a female and I'm wearing a man's suit. There's a lot of alterations they've got to do to make it look right. And so I was like, I'm gonna have to sell. I was like, it's for a TV show. And then that was everything changed then. They're like, oh, right, okay. So then got all the tapes around me and that sort of
dropping the TV card.
Is it Don't Tell the Bride? I was like, I can't tell you that.
That's so funny. See, I went with Harriet and Shannon. It was just a quick go in to try a dress on, which was weird in itself. So is it called Off the Peg or whatever it's called? So we went wed to be, so you can just go in and buy a dress. And me tried on loads of different dresses, which is such a surreal moment. Bizarre, it's like wow, and it's not normal because usually people have the whole lead up to it and everyone knows.
And you know who you're marrying, you're excited about it.
And then you've got the story. So I'm trying wedding dresses on, and the lady, was asking me questions, and I'm like, I don't know. And you know,
how long you been together? I'm like, I haven't met you.
asking questions. So then Harriet's the one that actually got me to fly. She's hilarious. She was making these weird things up. So she was like, no one really knows. And then Harriet was like, yeah, they don't like him. Her family don't like him, so she's not told them. Like, she had them quick. She had answers so quick, and it was so hilarious. And then the wedding dress that I actually wore was when it was on the hanger. You know, the side bits. It looked a lot worse. It looked really revealing. It didn't look as nice as it does on. So we joked, and I called it the hoe dress, because out of all the other dresses, all prim and proper. So we called it the hoe dress, and I was like, I'll just try it on, just to try it on. Lo and behold, the hoe dress one. And it doesn't even look hoey, but
makes sense.
You know. Surprised I didn't have some big hoops on. So it's mental. Like I say, people asking you questions, you can't really tell them. You've got no ring as well.
Yeah.
Like, so obviously women tend to usually have engagement rings. Oh, your ring. I ain't got one. Yeah. Like, no proposal story, nothing. Oh, and just to add, they give us the money for our bride and groom outfits, don't they?
You get an allowance.
Yeah, I mean,
so you get
it's
an allowance.
Tight budget.
We had some money.
We had some money, but the money actually, in the grand scheme of how much wedding dresses cost, actually
what was it? 1,000. 1,200.
The guys had like, you got the
the
female amount,
because obviously I was wearing a suit, but I still got these. So the men get like what, 500 quid?
It's like 800, I think.
800. The girls get
1,200, I think.
1,000. Yeah, so they get a slightly higher allowance. But because I was classed as a bride, I got the higher allowance.
Nice.
I'm gonna be honest, I was quidsing.
Yes, I bet you was. Bloody wedding dresses are not cheap in any way, shape or form.
You still look fly though.
Yeah, you looked lovely. But even then, like, with that money, that's really just your wedding dress, because it doesn't cover then like your bridesmaids and stuff. So it was difficult. I did give towards, but yeah, my bridesmaids ended up getting theirs. Which would be nice if it just covered everything.
Yeah.
And then we get the booklet, don't we? The wedding book. So we get emailed like a booklet. So in it is what you prefer, like flower arrangements, the little gifts that you give to people. What are they called? They've got a proper name. Little gifts that you give to people when they come to your wedding. Like for me, I have the hairstyles in that I'd want, any accessories in my hair. Venue, like what you'd like, what venue kind of decoration you'd like.
I had the green one of them. Because mine, there was a green one, a bride one, because I had like, you know, the thingy that goes in the pocket.
Yes.
So mine had that on, and then you got party favours.
Yes, wedding favours.
Wedding favours.
Yes, finally.
Yeah, so you get to pick, but you have a selection of like 4. So what tables would you like? What flowers would you like? What party favours would you like? Wedding favours. What thingy would you like? And then based on what the other person has said, they put them together, and then they try and combine the perfect wedding for the both of you.
Yeah.
But saying that, me and Jenna both, neither of us chose, because I remember saying on the wedding day, "Oh, but did you choose the really colourful out there flowers?"
Yeah.
And she was like, "No," and I was like, "Well, I didn't either." But we had colourful out
I
there.
wonder if, like, a lot of us chose very similar. And I thought, no, we need to mix this up.
Yeah.
Because to be fair, like, I did love where I got married, the chapel, everything. That was a lot of what I'd chosen. The wedding favours I wanted to plant because I wanted people to keep for ages. So we got them. I think Jordan, when I spoke to him, he chose quite similar to me. So I was like, yeah, okay. Like my bouquet, the bouquet was in the box. I chose the Discade, I forgot what it's called. Anyway, whatever the name is. So my bouquet was exactly how I wanted it. So I was pretty happy, to be fair, with mine.
Yeah, ours was beautiful. It was really wedding, so.
Yeah. You got married to a different place to me, didn't you? So I got married in Hertfordshire and you got married in Essex.
Yeah.
So where I got married, Jordan Banjo got married there not long ago.
Oh really?
Yeah. I was like, oh my god, yes.
There were snazzy venues.
Oh, beautiful.
And I think there was only 2 venues for all of the weddings, I believe, or maybe 3.
I think there might be 3 because I don't think Sophie got married where we got married.
And I think that what they did was they just completely mixed them and had them in different.
Yeah.
So I remember seeing PJ walking through a part that. Well, actually, that's a complete lie. PJ walked through a section, and Jenna said that was at our wedding. I was just on a complete whitey all day, so I didn't take it in, but Jenna saw it.
No, we're the same. So the Hertfordshire one, obviously, me and Jordan were very lucky. We got the chapel. To me personally, that was the best bit, and it was the amount of flowers and the smell. It was crazy. Like, it was lovely. And then we got the nice other venue too for the reception. So we had 2 really nice bits. And then some other people, I think Whitney and Duca got the stairs of where we were. Yeah. And then someone got married where we had our reception.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So because the place was massive. So I felt really grateful to get the chapel and the thing.
Good.
Yeah, I was happy with that. In terms of like the wedding.
Yeah.
They pay for everything. They sort it out. You have no idea actually what your wedding is going to look like, because I've just remembered I had to ring and ask what colour my bridesmaids could be, because I had no idea of what the colour scheme was.
Yeah.
And even then, it wasn't a straight, they were like, I'll get back to you. And they couldn't tell me. No. So that's why I love the colour sage anyway. So that's why I went sage, because I thought, it's just and I had to go, well, I'm going with sage, and they're like, like, we knew nothing, did we?
Well, and then also you've got to remember that we were 2 females getting married with brides, and I assumed that Jenna was going to have bridesmaids.
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, what if she brings bridesmaids and they're wearing a colour that completely clashes with our colour? But I was wearing a navy suit. My original idea was that I wanted the bridesmaids to wear like the same suits. Well, just my sisters, wasn't it? Emma and Kayla. So I wanted Emma and Kayla to wear the same suit as me. Yeah. But wear it with like heels and wear it like having.
Oh, so like more feminine touch to it. Cute.
But they found these dresses that they liked, so they had them.
See, that's the difference with grooms, because brides, no one ain't having the same dress as me.
No. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's the difference.
No brides, like, yeah, bridesmaids can look like me.
But then on the day, I mean, I don't think Jenna had any bridesmaids.
I don't remember having
bridesmaids. I know her sister was on the head table and I remember walking in and seeing Stevie and Josie sat there and they just looked dead cool. And then I was like, oh my gosh, she's got loads of lesbian friends. And I haven't, but look, I had Lorna and Jen there.
Holding it down.
Token lesbian friends, thank you. And so they, but I don't think she had any bridesmaids. And so, but do you know, it's an interesting thing actually. So my mom had a dress that she bought for the wedding. Yeah. And then she ended up there was something didn't fit her right or something, but she ended up taking it back. And then she chose a different dress. And then when she turned up on the day, Jenna's mom was wearing that dress.
Oh my God, it was meant to be.
Our mom's nearly turned up in the same dress.
Imagine. That's mad, that is.
That is mad,
I love weird stuff like that.
I love weird stuff
and that's
like
why she had to take it back, otherwise she would have worn the same one.
Yeah, all good.
That's so cute.
Would have made great TV.
Yeah, it would have been like, who wore it better? And that's the thing with the head table. So like, even with the head table, you don't know on your, obviously the group, for me, the groom's side, who's going to be at the head table. So I was asked, and originally I was told all 3 bridesmaids would be at the head table. Yeah, well, so initially I got told that. So I was like, okay, cool, that's it, done. Then they swapped it all around, and then it was like one person. And I was like, oh God, what he chose, because I was in the predicament of, if he's got his mom, then I should have my mom. If he's got his best man, then I should have like my bridesmaid. Yeah. So I was like, oh, I don't know, and like me being an overthinker. So I went with my mate Shannon, because I knew how nervous my mum was as well. Yeah. She was really nervous. She was more nervous than I was. She was stressing out to the point I thought, is there something wrong with me? Should I be more nervous? And then obviously I chose Shannon, got there, and from the phone call with like production, I thought he'd have his best man. Yeah. Get there, he's got his mum and I was like, oh, for fuck's sake, now I look like the bad daughter. But it's mad. Like that's something as well. Like how was your, in the morning, so in the morning I'm getting ready. I had Champneys Hotel, the most beautiful, amazing room you've ever seen. I swear it's like bigger than my house. It had like a whole bedroom, big bathroom, the wall had a TV in it for the bath. I had my own front room. When I tell you it's amazing, I've got a video of it. It was amazing.
I don't want to see the video because I wasn't porting no sweet.
It was. Oh, and Zara McDermott and Sam Thompson were at the spa when I was there, and I was there like this. And I was just I was stood at reception with them then. I was like, you know, you really want a picture, but you don't want to be that person. I wanted to pretend like I was just there and I usually go there. But yeah, and then in the morning, they brought my bridesmaids to me. So I got ready with them. We was all getting our makeup and hair done. And then they go. And then they bring my mum to see my dress, because my mum actually didn't want to see my dress. Obviously, when she found out, she said, don't show me your dress, I want to see it on the day. Yeah. So what you see it being filmed is actually a true reaction to seeing me, because she didn't know. Cute.
I really wanted to go to a rave right the week before. And I'd rang and said...
because we had to isolate, didn't we? We had to isolate days before.
Well, you say this. But I said, I really want to go to this rave, it's on the Saturday, and I wasn't getting married. So I need to know whether or not I'm getting married on the Tuesday, Wednesday or Thursday. Because if it's on the Tuesday, I won't go, because I'm not going to be feeling in a great headspace. If it's on the Thursday, I'll go, because I'll be fine by then. And she said, because they were very corona. They were like, well, if you get coronavirus, then, and I was like, oh, right then. So I ended up not going. And then they called me, so cancelled it, I wasn't going, and I had a phone call saying, they've decided for everybody, they want everyone to go down much earlier, because of the risk of getting corona. I was like, okay, no worries. So I went down like 2 or 3 nights beforehand. Anyway, we'd been on the honeymoon, and in the apartments, we were all chatting, I was like, oh yeah, we want to go down. Anyway, no one else had to go down 2 or 3 days before, and I think...
They didn't trust you.
They didn't trust me. I thought I was a loose cannon. I was going out all the time. I was going to get Rona.
We're not taking the risk on, are we? And what are the chances You didn't, but Jenna did.
I know, exactly.
That is so funny. So, stag and hen days, the time you first becoming aware of the other people in the experiment.
Yeah. When we were doing the backstories, I said, I'm assuming I'm going to be with the grooms on the stag do, not the hen do. And then I remember Laura said to me, they're not going to want to assume that you're supposed to be with the guys, which is fair. So maybe you should, if that's what you want, maybe ring and ask. And maybe. So that's what I did, and I said, that's fine, we'll put you on stag do's. And then
if not, would they put you both on the hen do?
Well, no, because I suppose there would have been a conversation. They would have made a decision on that, I guess. They obviously would have had to have split us. But I also had to put a request in that I was standing at the altar. Because I obviously didn't want to be walking down with flowers. Like. So I remember standing, you have to stand in different holding sections, don't you, before? And I was obviously the last one to go in, big lesbo reveal. And I remember getting to the last holding place. And Amy, you know Amy, the camera girl, one of my faves. It was the first time I'd met her. She's funny. She was like, and I was like, I felt like didn't know if I could do it. I was like, I don't know if I can do this. Like, it was a lot. I could hear all these guys, like, I could hear like manly men laughing. And it was just so intimidating. And she's like, you've got to do it for the guys. So you need to just get out there. And then she's like, right, I'm counting you in. I was like,
Amy's so straight talking, isn't she?
I was like, right, okay then. And she's like, right, 3, 2, 1. I was like, right, and then that's when I walked in. But it was so scary.
Yeah, that's so funny because Amy was the one that was there initially as I walked in as well. Yeah, she always says, "Oh, I can remember you in your party feet." I bought these party feet, which are gel cushions you put in heels so your feet don't hurt. But I brought faulty ones, which. Just don't ask. And they didn't stick. I was like, oh, my party feet. And now she's like, I always just remember you and your party feet, going on about your party feet. It's like, yeah, but they were faulty. But yeah, it is intimidating before you go in because you're like, this is it. This is reality, like in terms of what the hell. It's very surreal. I was quite fortunate because I was 4th in. Laura was in. I think Jenna was already in and Jess. I think they were the initial ones before when I walked in. So I was like, hi. And then as obviously like Keisha came, Tom came with an entrance. And yeah, as that happened, I could see actually some of these big, strong characters. Like even when I remember Jenna, like, I'm not here to make friends. And I was like this.
You know, Kwame said as well, he goes, he said, so how would everyone feel if, wanted to do a little bit of wife swapping, like if it doesn't work out with one of our wives, it might work out with somebody else's. And everyone was a bit like, what the hell? And that never got aired. He didn't come
to play, did he? Right.
So,
wow.
Remember that?
That one there.
That was, I enjoyed that. And then the next day we had the press day, didn't we?
Yeah. So like, I suppose it's funny because when I told you about the stag, yours seemed like a lot more chilled. It was more, like plain sailing. Yeah. And whereas our hen do was a bit fiery. It was a little bit fiery because obviously I had Jenna and Tom. And then Whitney had got upset at one point about her mom, I believe, and then Jenna was upset about her dad. Yeah. So there was it was a real emotional roller coaster just in the hen do, because these are obviously raw emotions, what people have experienced, and you've just met. So there was all of that, and then oh my god, and then we had to dance. Right, they made us dance. We had to dance, and I'll give you a little secret. So we had shots. They were not alcohol in the shots. It was water. Yeah. And it was really nasty water. I drink water. I love water. But it was nasty water and was like, what is this? I think it was watered Prosecco. Watered Prosecco. And we're dancing with someone's phone. So they didn't even play tunes, right? Someone's phone, quiet in the background. You're just now and then getting a beat. Do you know what I mean? And we're just like, woo, living our best lives. And then...
Did everyone go in the middle and do a little solo?
Oh my god, yeah, and you're like, oh.
I refuse to do it. No. I'm like, are you mad? What do you want me to do?
I can barely dance as it is.
I've seen you dance.
Stone cold sober.
I've seen you dancing. You can dance. I have seen you dance.
No, that's when I've had a few drinks down me. The drink helps me dance. If I'm sober, I am so awkward. So I'm like, these new people and national TV. So, and then it just ends. And actually, I walked away feeling like I didn't know anyone anymore. I felt like you don't get the time you think you're going to get to understand people.
Yeah.
So you don't really feel much more in a group.
No.
But then the next day, it's the press day. And then we go and do all our Channel 4 things. So the things you saw on the adverts, where, we're doing our little... my little jig.
And every time I was put on E4, I could just be watching something and it'd just be me. We started sending it me, I'm like, oh
yeah,
God.
I remember sending it because when it initially started, everyone was waiting to see everyone's, so you just get a little message. This is yours. This is yours. And we had the group chat then.
Yeah.
The group chat that died very quickly.
No, I didn't have no group chat. I was in that group
You was
chat.
in it for like a day, and then you was like, "Fuck this, I'm out."
Yeah. And then everyone carried on for a few weeks, didn't they?
Yeah,
I had about a day, and then I just thought,
that chat's dead and gone now.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed press day. Did you? I thought it was fun. Like the guy that was managing it that day, I forgot his name. He was from Long Eaton, which is close to Derby. So he got a lot of like the Derby references and the accent and stuff. And I was the last one. So imagine they've done everyone and I was the last one and they're ready for home.
Yeah.
They're thinking I'm done. So I was just there like, hi guys! Everyone soon woke up. And they were just like, oh, we're glad we had you last because you've been really like upbeat.
That's cute. Yeah.
So it was fun. And
the press day was alright. I didn't love it.
Oh, I had so much fun on the press day. And then you're doing and it was really cool because the table you see where we're all sat at, obviously that's all laid out, but it's only you doing the photo on the table.
Yeah, and you have to have photos with so I had to have photos where I'm standing there and I'm like pointing to Jenna, but Jenna's not there because we haven't met yet. And then they merge you together and they go out as press. So when you go out, like E4 announces Meet the Singles and there's photos of us or there'll be like press release of us as couples. It'll be us pointing to each other or doing things like, and that person wasn't there. Yeah,
it's mad, and you're thinking, who is this person going to be?
Yeah.
And then and like you're thinking of all the other people as well. It's and like how it's going to plan out. And I had a great day. What was your song? Did you have a song that you had to choose, and then you have to like just go with it?
Bicep Blue.
Did you? Mine was Shenzaya. Blessed.
Oh, was it? Everyone's loving it there. There were lots of six choice.
It was a good one. That is a good one. To be fair, when I put mine on, they all just kind of looked at me like, what is this?
Well, I said, first of all, I said, oh, I don't mind. And then someone was like, well, we thought something like hard. Maybe, I don't know, they thought something like Shania Twain. And then at first I was just like, yeah, I didn't really care. Then put it on, I'm like, oh, no. And I'm like, put Bicep on glue. They're like, oh, right then.
It's so funny because when they asked you earlier on the song, I completely forgot about it.
Sorry, we're talking about a song. So when when we're in the studio, they play a song. That,
you do unwinded, get
so you do all your photos, you've got to do all your movements and all your stuff and all of those things. And so it's just to kind of get you like pumped. So you go behind the camera, you're just full of energy. So what song makes you feel like that? What song makes you feel good so that you can bust out all the moves that you need to.
All I heard was, I forgot about it, and all I heard was, when I wake up in the morning. And I was like, yeah. And then I was like, bless, bless. So when you see me do that, I'm like, wait to bless, bless. So yeah, I absolutely loved that day. And then you guys went home. Because everyone else went home, but then me and Jordan had to stay in London because our wedding was first.
So did you take all your case up and that with you to stag do's and hen do's?
Yeah, I've got a picture somewhere. The amount of stuff I had, obviously I lost a suitcase on the honeymoon. That's for the next podcast. But yeah, I had everything and I just had to stay. So from stag do's, that was it. That was my journey started.
That's
and
nice.
Then So that is a little bit about pre-MAFS, what we was doing beforehand, how we got into it.
Yeah.
And yes. So that's part one.
We're hoping that's answered most of your questions.
Yeah, we do like to.
So yeah, next time I'm sure we'll ping out a little question box again before the next episode.
Yeah.
To maybe get
just in case you feel. Oh, actually.
Yeah.
I thought of something. But thank you guys for so much for sending the questions, because actually when you do ask questions, sometimes you cover stuff that we haven't even thought of, or we're like, oh my god, yeah, remember this. So we really appreciate it.
Yeah.
And we are having so much fun doing it.
Yeah.
So yeah, thanks for listening and
Tune
watching.
In next time.
Yes.
Don't forget to subscribe, please.
Oh yes.
Thanks.
Instagram, Spotify,
TikTok.
YouTube, TikTok. List is getting longer. We're here. And we will see you next time.
See you later.
Bye.